Up next for the Cincinnati Bengals is the Atlanta Falcons. Will Matt Ryan and that offense continue to gel and have enough in the tank?
They're putting up big points, Wendy, and I like what I'm seeing in the Falcons offense. Defense is struggling, but I think they're going to be too much for the Cincinnati Bengals this week. I like what I'm seeing in that wide receiver. Calvin Ridley, the young rookie with the Falcons, really stepping up. I think the Falcons win now.
I think the Falcons win also. I think that the offense is going to score points enough to win. If it's not Julio, it's Ridley. But if it's not Ridley, watch out for Sanu.
That's right.
Sanu's one of those sneaky good receivers also.
They have so many choices from which to choose. Jameis Winston is back following his 3-game suspension. 2-1 were the Bucs without him, led by Ryan Fitzpatrick. Dirk Cutter won't say who, although they know. What do you do against Chicago?
Listen, you try to put up points, but it's hard to put up points against the Chicago Bears football team. Look, I like what I'm seeing. They get after you in the running game. And not only that, but the passing game, they put you in passing situations in 3rd and long, and they get after you at the Khalil Mack and that passing group. I like the Chicago Bears to win this football game.
I also like the defense of the Chicago Bears to dominate this game and for the Bears to get the win. Khalil Mack, you get a lot of accolades. Danny Trevathan, it's a great linebacking core. Akeem Hicks up front, someone that needs to get more attention, is having a great year. Chicago wins.
Well, they say it's hard to find a good pass rusher. John Gruden did, but Chicago found one.
Yeah.
Up next for Detroit, a Cowboys team that seems to have a fair amount of its own issues. Darren, who you got?
At home, I think the Dallas Cowboys win this game, and it's not about Dak Prescott in the offense. It'll be more so on the defensive side of the ball. They'll find ways to put Matthew Stafford in that offense in some problems and give him some trouble. I like the Cowboys at home in this one.
I'm going to go with the Lions here. The unit that I was most surprised and impressed with last week was the offensive line of the Detroit Lions. How Bob Quinn, general manager, has built that unit up since 2016. They got that run game going, first 100-yard rusher for him in a long time. I think Dak's going to continue to have struggles on 3rd down. I'll go with the Lions.
Meanwhile, it's a Cowboys offensive line that need to get their act together. We got a rookie quarterback again. It's the Buffalo Bills. That big win coming off the Vikings last week. But now, I don't know if they do that again against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, last week was impressive, Wendy. Josh Allen going on the road to Minnesota to win that game, but going on the road to play the Green Bay Packers, going up against Aaron Rodgers, who has a lot of, basically they're trying to get some get back. They lost last week in Washington. They're trying to get back on top right now. I like the Green Bay Packers at home.
Yeah, the Bills snuck up on the Vikings. They weren't ready for them. And the Packers, watching that film, they won't let it happen to them. I think Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, they'll have that connection to get the victory.
That knee for Aaron Rodgers still not 100%, but obviously able to play, and he'll be in there. The reigning champs, Philadelphia, on the road against a Titans team who looked better last week.
This is a hard one to pick because you're watching Tennessee defensively, and they bought into that identity of your former teammate, Mike Vrabel. They understand what they need to do. They're in the right gaps. They know how to play. But I got to lean to the Philadelphia Eagles. You're starting to see Carson Wentz come back in his 2nd game. I think they get on a roll and they win this one.
My buddy's been doing great. Vrabes has been doing great with that Tennessee Titan team, but I'm picking the Philadelphia Eagles here. One thing you learn about Carson Wentz last week, he loves those tight ends. I mean, it's almost 20 targets to his tight ends. Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz. Those are 2 weapons that I think are going to be tough for the Titans to stop. Eagles will get the win.
Again, the 2nd start for Carson Wentz since returning from an ACL injury. Houston goes on the road to face Andrew Luck and the Colts. Who you got?
This Houston team has been sporadic, both offensively and defensively. They haven't been able to move the ball offensively and defensively, which was supposed to be one of their strengths. They haven't done a good enough job of stopping the run and giving up big plays. I like Indy at home, raucous crowd. They put some numbers up.
I'm going to take the Texans here, and I still think I'm enamored by Deshaun Watson and waiting for him to wake up and have a spectacular game again. I don't know. Maybe it's just not going to happen, but I'm going to think there is a chance. That defense has to give him good situations. J.J. Watt, those guys have to come up big, get a turnover to help that offense get some momentum.
It would be the first win of the season for the Texans, who currently sit at 0-3. They do need one. Miami on the road in New England, typically a tough place for any team to play, and the Dolphins have been right in there.
And always a close game, like you said. Always close game. But Ryan Tannehill's 0-5. In Foxborough, and I'm not betting against the Pats to go 0-3 this time around. I like the Pats at home winning this one.
The fundamental problems I saw last week, you saw them too, tackling in New England for those defenders. Jawan Bentley, the loss is big, but I just think they'll turn it around. I think they'll turn it around and get this win. Hopefully Josh Gordon, maybe he's out there to get some coverage away from Gronkowski. That would be big for this Patriot offense, but Brady will lead them to a win.
They've lost 2 in a row. This team hasn't lost 3 in a row since 2002. That's quite some time.
I was there.
The Jets and Sam Darnold in a tough spot against that Jacksonville pass rush, against that defense in general. On the Jets on the road, Darren.
I don't like it for the Jets. And Sam Darnold's going to see a team that's upset from when they lost last week to a division rival in the Titans. I like what I see in the Jags defensively. Offensively, they need to get better, but I think the Jags, because they're playing a young Sam Darnold, they get this win.
Yeah, only scoring, I think, what was it, 6 points last week. Watching Blake Bortles just struggle. His receivers drop passes, but I look over at the other side and just the dominance of that Jags defense. Ngakoue is a rusher off the edge that I think will make a difference. So they'll rattle the young QB. I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
I think it could be a long afternoon for that young quarterback. Break up the Browns. They got their win, the first in 635 days. So Baker Mayfield, his first start on the road against the Oakland Raiders.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. But now that John Gruden has tape on Baker Mayfield, I think they find ways to get to him with pressure. And I'm going with the Oakland Raiders to win this game.
Really?
Yes.
I'm a Baker believer.
Baker
Going with Baker Mayfield. I think they're going to focus on Jarvis Landry. So Antonio Callaway, watch out for him. Shots deep down the field. The Raiders have struggled with a 4-man pass rush to get pressure on the quarterback. Maybe they bring some pressure, but I think Baker's going to get rid of that ball. Some shots downfield. Browns 2 in a row. Browns 2 in a row.
You could make the argument they should be 3-0. You really could. They've been in every ball game. We shall see. The Seattle Seahawks against the Arizona Cardinals. Again, one of those 4 rookie quarterbacks getting the start. Josh Rosen takes over.
And Earl Thomas is hot.
And he's
right
ready.
now, 2 interceptions this past week. I like Seattle in this game on the road in Arizona. Young quarterback getting his first start. Pete Carroll will draw some things on the board to confuse him a little bit. But I like the Seattle Seahawks in this football game.
I like the Seattle Seahawks, too. You mentioned Earl Thomas. I love what he's doing playing center field out there, just doing so much. He's rested, too. He's not practicing too often. So go out there and play for your team, get a victory, and get out of there. Go ahead, Seahawks.
Okay, no practice, but he plays. Fair enough. It's the Saints who head north. They go on the road to face another veteran quarterback, Eli Manning and the Giants, but it's really that running back that's got everybody talking.
Yeah, and it's, week in and week out, it's the Saints trying to put up numbers because the defense has been porous. But I like the Saints away in New York to win this football game, and it's about Sean Payton drawing up some plays. They can get some of those big chunk plays down the field. I like the Saints to go on the road and win this one.
You know, I agree with you. I'm going to take the Saints on the road also. As explosive as Saquon Barkley is and Odell Beckham Jr., I mean, look over on the other side and you'll see Michael Thomas and guys like that and Alvin Kamara who are, you know, as a unit, much more explosive than the New York Giants. I just think the Saints will score more points.
Which means they win the ball game.
Yes, it is. That is right.
Yep.
It's a battle on the West Coast. The San Francisco 49ers facing the Chargers, in this instance without their quarterback. We now know Jimmy Garoppolo lost for the season.
Yeah, no Jimmy G. It's going to be hard sledding for this San Francisco 49ers team to get back on track. I think when you look at the Chargers, they took a loss last week to the Rams, but they bounced back this week. Phillip Rivers has some great weapons, and Keenan Allen and the bunch that they have there.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers also. It was, for the 49ers, it was great to see Reuben Foster back at linebacker and going sideline to sideline in those big hits that he was making. Him versus Melvin Gordon is a matchup I'll be looking forward to watch.
We talk about a game changer. It was a season changer, really, for the 49ers to lose Jimmy G. Our Sunday night matchup, the Pittsburgh Steelers got in the win column last week. They'll try to make it 2 in a row against the Ravens.
I like the Baltimore Ravens on the road in Pittsburgh to win this game. And it's not just about Baltimore's defense. I think Joe Flacco has the weapons that he's been looking for, veteran weapons. John Brown on the outside, Michael Crabtree, another one. It's going to be a shootout, and Steelers can't stop anyone, and they're not tackling good on the back end. I like the Ravens.
Well, I'm going to go with the Steelers. I like the offensive weapons on the other side of the ball. Jimmy Smith, Antonio Brown matchup isn't going to be there because there's no Jimmy Smith. So look out for Juju Smith also to have a big day. Roethlisberger is going to sling it. He's going to be back there slinging it all around. I just think the Steelers will score enough to get this win.
Look, given everything else they've had to contend with, 2 straight wins would go a long way for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Our Monday night matchup, Patrick Mahomes, he has been fun to watch. He takes that show on the road to Denver.
Yeah, I think this is, outside of the Rams, this Kansas City offense has been explosive, and I don't think the Denver Broncos can match up with them point for point moving forward. I think there's so many weapons with the Kansas City Chiefs, and Mahomes is playing lights out right now.
I'm going to go with the Broncos. I think they control them with the offensive line. Royce Freeman will have a big day. I really like the Denver Bronco offensive line and how they've been playing this year. One of the better units in the league for the past 3 weeks. So a clock-controlled, defense turnover type of victory for the Broncos.
They better control the clock because 13 touchdowns in 3
putting them up.
games. If you give him time, he's going to put the ball in the end zone, Patrick Mahomes.